Okay, so with the digital picks and shovels, I've sort of really impressed upon you the more fiddly and complex the better is. Not for you, not for the sort of hours that you may in fact toil learning this stuff, but just because you will understand how complex and how frustrating it might be for a potential client, and what you want to be is that person who provides that relief instead of them having to sort of get involved with this fiddly stuff. You can. Now, the reason that I've used this quite big lead into this is that it doesn't come as fiddly as this next picks and shovel, which I call data and analytics. Data and analytics. Now, one of my heroes is a business management consultant, sadly no longer with us. His name is Mr. Peter Drucker. And Mr. Drucker came up with so many simple business principles that I just think we would all do very well to follow. The first is, the purpose of any business is to create and keep a customer. It sounds so basic, but if your focus is on how do I create and then how do I keep that customer, believe me, you'll do better than most. But another thing that Mr. Drucker said once was, what gets measured gets managed. What gets measured gets managed. And people online who don't want to measure leave themselves open to all sorts of interpretation. You must understand how something is working for you. And it's not like we are not open to doing that in the first place. But the problem is sometimes we have these vanity metrics. This is where you see someone on social media saying, I've got all these likes, or I've got all these shares or comments. Or someone on a YouTube channel saying, I've got all these subscribes. These are not the kind of data and analytics that I'm talking about. If you are a provider of a digital pick or shovel in the way of data and analytics, you become that numbers person. You become the person who says to somebody, right, this is how much we're spending on this and this is what our return has been. This is how many people that we're seeing, and this is what the long-term value of somebody who's come through this path, this funnel that I'm going to talk about, is worth. You provide that business or that entrepreneur with the data and with the numbers that will allow them to make qualified decisions. The worst thing in the world that we can ever do is just guess or surmise or allow our emotions to determine these decisions. So these data analysts, the person who looks around and sets up the various tracking, because that's the tactical side of it. It's all very well running a Facebook ad, but you need to put pixel tracking on that Facebook ad. It's all very well being on Google and looking to do SEO, but you've got to make sure Google Analytics are on the page. So then you're able to get this information and say to your client, look, this is what the numbers are actually telling us, not this is what we think or we feel about something here. So again, this is one of these fiddly barometers where you yourself might sit down and you might think, oh my goodness, this is just like too much to take. But just know that your potential client is doing that 10 times, 100 times. So if you can go to them and say, listen, let me be your numbers person. Let me do this fiddly setting up of the analytics, of the data. Let me be able to report it to you regularly and often so that we can make these qualified, measured decisions. Oh, you will absolutely write your own ticket. So you're going to see some information here on how you can get started and learning a little bit more about it. And remember to keep that mantra in your mind. The fiddlier, the better, the more permanently employable you will be.